This is the new FPV Crate for May 2021, and this is a very special box to me because it is through my association with this box that I was able to get this made. This is the QAV-S JB Edition. And what I want to do in this video is, number one, I'm gonna unbox this box and show you the other stuff that was in it, break my policy of not being that interested in unboxings because I had a lot to do with this one, and I'm going to introduce you to this frame, tell you what I changed about it, why I like it. I'm Joshua Bardwell. You're going to learn something today. A little while back, I did a roundup of lightweight freestyle frames. I was looking for the freestyle frame that I was going to use in my updated perfect freestyle build. Yeah, like 2 years ago, I did my perfect freestyle build where, like, no holds barred. I picked my favorite stuff exactly how I wanted it to be. And it's been a long winding road as to why it's taken me 2+ years to update it. But the short version is that there just haven't been like the perfect set of stuff that I felt I really wanted to put out there, but now there is. And the frame was one of the last things that I was waiting on. And I turned out to not pick any of those frames because they all, I liked certain things about them, but there were other things I didn't like. I picked the one that I liked the most, the QAV-S, and I talked to Lumineer about making a couple changes to it, and now here we are. By the way, link to that video down in the video description. If you decide that the QAV-S JB Edition is not the one for you, but you're interested in a lightweight freestyle frame, pick one of those. They're all really good. They're all really good. But let's take a closer look at this box, the subscription box. I am on record. I used to do subscription box openings. And eventually I was like, I'm just kind of opening a box, and I wasn't that excited about most of the stuff that was in it, so I stopped doing them. But with this one, Lumineer worked with me. Number one, it was like, well, hey, how about we put your frame in it? Okay, seems like a great idea to get my frame out to a bunch of people. And number two, I had direct say over the other stuff that was in the box, so I didn't really have to compromise on any of it. What we've got in here, 5% off card for Get FPV. Sure, why not? A sticker sheet. This is by Revert FPV. It's a pretty cool little sticker sheet. Get FPV also sent me these sticker sheets in a separate box. They're also really cool, and I don't know how you would get one of them. But they're also really cool. All that art is by Revert FPV. He's a really great artist. These are my JB 51477 Hurricane props, my freestyle props that I would say I developed with GemFan, but really what happened is I found that I liked that prop really well, but I wanted them in my custom colors, yellow and purple, so I just said, hey, if I put my name on it, will you make it in my colors for me? And they said, sure. So I think it's a good prop. A lot of people these days are going for a larger prop, like a 5.2 by 23 pitch. And there are some advantages to that. In fact, I've got some new GemFan 5.2 by 23 experimental props I'm going to be trying out. Get subscribed if you want to see, hit the notification bell and get subscribed. You want to see what's up with those. Well, but anyway, a thank you card from FPV Crate, fine. This is so cool. This is a little micro version of FPV Flight Dynamics by Christian Malika. This is a whole book. You can buy this book off Amazon for like $50. It's well worth it. It's so cool. It's so cool. It's so cool to just read a book about FPV. Okay, if you're, kids these days may not be as impressed with books as a guy like me, but. So this is a little micro version of it. Give you a little taste of what's in the book. It's pretty cool. Every FPV Crate box includes a tool. So they said to me, what tool would you like to provide? But here's the catch. It can't be too expensive, right? We can't put like a $50 tool in there. So I said, how about some of these little cross-lock tweezers? I use these cross-lock tweezers. They're in my toolkit. I think they're really useful. The advantage of them is that they hold tight and you squeeze to release. So it can be useful for situations where you want to hold a wire, but you don't want to be squeezing it all the time. Like if you're soldering, you can kind of just squeeze the wire and set them down. So we've got some cross-lock tweezers in here. I'll bet you don't already own a set of cross-lock tweezers. Didn't want to just give you another prop tool that you've already got 50 of. A little set of cross-lock tweezers. The shirt that I am wearing right now. And, woohoo! the frame. And inside the frame, there is another sticker set, some JB stickers. People are always asking me, hey, you got any stickers? And I just never get around to making stickers. So kudos. You want to get some JB stickers? Buy this frame. By the way, everything you're about to see now about the frame, that you can just buy the frame. If you didn't buy the box, you can just go down in the video description. There's a link there and you can just buy the frame separately. And here are the parts of the frame. Now, before I take that frame out and show you how it goes together and discuss some of the build details that I liked about it, I want to just briefly go over the changes that I made, because I'm seldom a person to just like slap my name on something. I want to contribute something to it. And the things that we did differently about this compared to the standard QAV-S. Number one is a solid top plate. It's not a split top plate. I know people who run the standard QAV-S, they swear that the split top plate does not compromise durability or flight handling. Nevertheless, I just didn't see a point of it. And by having a solid top plate, we also get rid of that extra standoff that was in there, which saves a little bit of weight. Speaking of saving weight, this is a slammed design. It's only 22 millimeters in height, so we save a little bit of weight on the standoffs. The 22 millimeter height is still plenty for a double stack board and a Cadix Vista. It's just not quite as roomy as the standard QAV-S, but still more than good enough. And it's gonna have a little bit better flight handling and a little bit better durability being slammed. The bottom plate is 3 millimeters on the JB, whereas on the standard one it's 2 millimeters. And this one, if you're looking at that and going, that doesn't look like 3 millimeters to me, Josh, that's because this is a prototype. This is actually 2 millimeters, but the one in the box is 3 millimeters. It's just this front plate here, and that's going to improve durability just a little bit in a crash, because those head-on impacts are it's gonna hold up better. I asked that Luminaire modify the camera plate just a little bit to give a little more versatility depending on what type of camera you're using. Over here we've got an arc for a standard 2-hole camera, and over here we've got a little bit of vertical adjustment and a little bit of horizontal adjustment here, so you can choose which of those camera holders designs you're going to use depending on what type of camera you've got. You just flip that around. Over here in the back they added a couple little nubs to help keep your battery strap from wanting to slide down. It just helps grip the battery strap just a little bit. And one other thing that some of you are not going to be happy about, I asked if we could add these horns to help protect the motor. The standard arm ends don't have the horns. And it turned out that adding those, I know that a lot of people really want a frame with those horns on it. Ciati, I'm talking to you. It turned out that adding those horns meant that they couldn't fit as many arms onto the sheet of carbon, and it would have raised the price of the frame actually more than I was happy with. So what we decided to do is the frame is going to come with standard arms without the horns, but then they're going to get some horn arms cut separately. And if you want to, you can buy those separately if you feel really strongly about it. But the one that you're going to see me have here has these horns on it, and those are actually not how yours are going to come. It is what it is. Now, I said that lightweight was one of my priorities, and I'm happy to say that because we made it a slam design, even though we have gone to a 3 millimeter bottom plate, which adds weight, because we've gone to a slam design and we got rid of that center standoff, the total weight is only about 115, 112 grams, even with the battery pad. Let's take a look. So here we go. This is 108 grams without the battery pad, and that's with the horned arms, so the standard arms are going to be lighter. And if we throw the battery pad on there, we come in at 117 grams, or it's about 115, I think, if you use the non-horned arms, which still qualifies it as lightweight in what I'm looking for. Okay, there's lighter ones out there, but like I talked about in that video, once you get below about 110, 100 grams, then the durability is really compromised to a point that I'm not comfortable with. So somewhere around 110, 115 grams was my goal, and we hit it. We improved the durability of the original QAV-S. We improved the flight handling by making it a slam design. I think it's a pretty good all around. So let me show you how it goes together. I love when manufacturers have well-marked, separated boxes of screws to make it as easy as possible to put the frame together. So you're not like, what am I doing? Which one is the 6? Which one is the 8? Yay, good job. The First thing we're going to do is we're just going to take the arms, and I want you to see how they go together. The arms are going to go together like this. We're going to have this center plate here. It is symmetrical, so it doesn't matter how you line it up. They're going to go in like this, and then these little I keep wanting to call them cheese blocks. If you're into Legos, you know the little Lego wedges are called cheese blocks. These always remind me of cheese blocks. These little triangle pieces are going to go in here, because what this does is it allows the arms to wedge in securely. It allows you to have single screw arm changes. This screw retains the arm, and it means that there is no screw hole through the center of the arm, and that's usually the weak point for quadcopter arms. You put a screw hole right here, you've now created a weak spot, and that tends to be where the arm is going to break. So in this case, the screw hole is levered off to the side so that all the force of the crash gets transmitted down through this center where it's strong. You still get the one hole arm change. It's a really, really clever design. Kudos to Ryan Harrell who did this design. It's a really smart design. So we're going to take the front bottom plate, and we're going to take these M3x16 screws. I'm going to put one of those screws up through this screw hole. The arm is going to go on, and then I think what I want to do is I'm going to take the X plate and put it in, and then I'm just going to start assembling here. It'll kind of hold itself together. I'm just going to loosely put that standoff on there. And then the next arm is going to go in. It needs to go around the X plate as it was on the table when I first showed it to you. Okay. Got another short standoff. Now we've got those arms in place. The X plate, you can see right here, is in place, and we can put the rear arms in. It's also going to be a 16mm screw and a short standoff. And likewise, this rear arm is going to go in. And then once you have everything sort of loosely in place, just check that it's all aligned correctly. Make sure that the X plate is in the center, and then you should be able to kind of squeeze down on these arms and have everything sort of rest into place. Oh, so you can see yeah, so let's just look at it from the bottom and make sure it's all sort of lined up. You can see that the screw holes on the X plate are going to line up with the screw holes on the bottom. And once everything is sort of roughly in place, we're going to get these M3x12 screws. There are 2 of them, and they're used for the little wedges, the little arrowheads. And those are what sort of locks the arms into place and keeps them from wiggling. And I don't know how well you're going to be able to see this, but do you see that the screw is not going in straight to the captive nut? There's intentionally some tension on these. That's what sort of jams it all together and makes the arms not wiggle. So you may need to kind of pull on the arms a little bit, make sure that everything is seated, and squeeze it to get it to all go together. Now we can tighten that all down. No movement whatsoever. And then if you needed to change an arm, you would just loosen this, but don't take it out. And then you probably would want to loosen a couple of the others just to take the tension off it. Remove this one, and then slide the arm out. New arm slides right back in. Very simple. Very elegant, very tough. Just a beautiful, beautiful design. And it was one of the main things that made me want to make this my chosen freestyle frame. Finally, there are these 25mm screws, which are intended for your stack screws, but there is a problem. If I go ahead and put these in, you'll see that they are too long. It is actually going to hit the top plate. And the reason for that is that when the factory made these kits, they forgot that we had made us, well, we forgot. We made the bill of materials. The factory just did what they were told. we forgot we had slammed the frame. The standoffs are shorter, so the stack screws need to be shorter. So unfortunately, you'll need to save these and use them on another build. I would recommend, you know, like a 22 millimeter or something, 25, 22. Yeah, that's about right. Or you could just get like a nut. You could just get an M3 nut and put it on this screw, and then will it go through there? I bet it will. That'll give you enough spacing to make that screw work. So sorry about that. That'll be fixed in a future set, but the first batch at least have these 25 millimeter screws, and they really shouldn't. So, oops. To finish assembling the frame, we're gonna get these M3x6 button head screws, and we're gonna get the long purple standoffs, and they're gonna go up front, and then 2 more M3x6 screws and the remaining 2 short standoffs in the rear. Next, you're going to take the camera plate and you're going to figure out which side is going to work best for your camera. Just take your camera mounting holes and kind of hold them up next to the, like this one has a single mounting hole, so which one would I prefer to use? I guess it might be this one. I don't know, you're just going to decide. Like with a single mounting hole, we could try to like move it front and back. No, it's going to stick out pretty far, so I probably would use this one, because it minimizes how far it sticks out. But you're just going to decide which way works best for you, and you're going to install those on the front of the frame, facing the direction that you prefer. In fact, in a lot of cases, it makes sense to mount the camera loosely before you finish assembling the frame, because sometimes the frame puts a little tension on the camera plates and squeezes the camera, and it can be a little more difficult to install it. And then we're going to take the top plate, and bear in mind that the top plate has a top and a bottom side. The top side has the Luminaire logo, and it has these countersunk screw holes, so make sure you don't accidentally put that in upside down. We're going to fit it to the camera plates like so. And then there are these M3x6 countersunk screws, and they're going to go in the rear. 1, 2, 3, and 4. And then there better be we got some M3x6s and some M3x8s. So there is your assembled frame. You can install the battery pad, of course, just sticks on there. Oh, one more thing. The frame also comes with these M3x8 cap head screws. What are those for? I made a big deal a little while back that frame manufacturers should include motor screws with their frames, because frame manufacturers know how thick the arms are, so frame manufacturers are the ones who know how long the screws need to be to fit the arms. So these are motor screws, and they're cap head, which I think are more durable than the button head screws that are often used on motors. So that's what that's for. That brings us to the end of the video. Thank you so much to Luminaire for working with me to help make this frame a reality. Thank you to Ryan Harrell for doing the original design that I thought was so special. If you're interested in picking up this frame, there's a link in the video description. Of course, you can get it from Get FPV, who is the manufacturer. And definitely make sure you are subscribed and hit the notification bell if you want to be the first to see my perfect freestyle build, which I'm literally right this minute about to start working on. So hopefully by the time you see this video, that one will be just about ready to come out. Ooh, what motors am I going to pick? What flight control? Okay, you can probably guess what flight controller I'm going to pick. Thanks so much for watching. Happy flying.
You guys, I don't know where I am, and I don't know what's going to happen, but if I don't make it out of this, I just want to know that you subscribe to my channel, or maybe join my Patreon, or click one of these videos I picked out for you.